Sergeant Marcus Hale stood stiff and silent in the great crystal hall of the Valari Palace. He had faced war zones, assassins, and alien beasts, but nothing prepared him for guarding a glowing blue princess with silver hair, floating 3 inches off the ground and looking extremely unimpressed. "This is my bodyguard," Princess Serena asked, folding her arms. Her voice rang like music, but her tone was sharp. "He looks like a rock with legs." Marcus didn't move. "Yes, Your Highness, a rock that stops bullets." The royal council members gasped at his tone, but Serena only smiled slightly. "Interesting. Most beings tremble when I speak." "I've been shot at by things bigger than you, Mom," he said, deadpan, respectfully. Serena floated closer, circling him. "You're not afraid of me?" "No." She tilted her head. "Even though I can read your mind." "Good luck finding anything interesting in there." A pause. Then she laughed. It was quick and musical, and gone just as fast. "Fine. You will guard me. Let's see how long you last." Marcus nodded once. His orders were clear. Protect the princess. Keep peace between Earth and the Valari Empire. And don't punch any nobles, no matter how annoying. It had been 10 years since Earth made contact with the Valari, a beautiful, psychic alien race who ruled half the galaxy. Peace was fragile. The humans were tough, smart, and unpredictable. The Valari were advanced, graceful, and proud. One small mistake could ruin the alliance. Princess Serena was the jewel of her people. She was next in line to rule, and her father, the Emperor, trusted no one. So they chose a human soldier known for loyalty, control, and surviving impossible odds. But Serena had plans of her own. She was tired of being surrounded by people who feared her. She wanted someone real, someone who could not be bought, manipulated, or scared. Maybe, just maybe, this human could be different. And so, she decided to test him. That same night, Marcus was told his quarters were changed. He was sent to a room with no bed, only a levitating meditation orb. When he asked about food, he was given a bowl of glowing blue paste. It smelled like burnt metal. Marcus didn't complain. He meditated on the orb. He ate the paste. He didn't flinch when the lights blinked with random psychic pressure. He even fixed the palace guard's broken plasma gate without being asked. Princess Serena watched from her crystal throne, curious. Most guards would ask for better food, more rest, or leave in frustration. But not Marcus. He just said, "Is this a test, Your Highness?" She smiled. "Maybe." He nodded. "Then I'll pass." And deep inside, for the first time in years, Serena felt something strange, a spark of respect. Maybe even interest. Princess Serena sat on her floating throne, watching Marcus from behind a thin curtain of light. The human guard stood at attention outside her chamber door, calm, silent, and strong like a statue made of steel. "He's still here," she said softly, sipping her glowing tea. Her advisor, Master Veros, frowned. "He has passed every test so far. Maybe it's time to stop playing games." Serena shook her head. "Not yet. I want to see what breaks him." Veros sighed. "Why, my lady?" She looked into the distance. "Because if I am to rule one day, I need someone beside me who cannot be broken." That morning, her next test began. As Marcus followed her through the royal garden, a psychic wind blew through the trees. The sky shimmered. Suddenly, the ground twisted beneath his feet, an illusion. His balance shifted. The path became a maze of floating stones and spinning light bridges. Normal guards would panic or fall. But Marcus paused, studied the pattern, and walked forward carefully, like a soldier crossing a minefield. He reached her side in less than 5 minutes. Serena didn't hide her surprise. "You've seen something like this before." Marcus gave a small nod. "Training simulation. A few aliens tried this trick back on Titan IV. Didn't work for them either." She smiled. "You keep surprising me, Sergeant." Just doing my job, Mom. Later that day, Serena brought him into the Hall of Voices, a giant, echoing room filled with psychic energy. Whispering sounds crawled into Marcus's ears, voices from his past. He heard shouting, explosions, a woman crying, a friend's last words in a burning ship. The hall tried to break his mind, but Marcus closed his eyes, clenched his fists, and stood still. "You're not real," he whispered. "You're not winning today." Serena watched closely. Most beings broke down in tears here. Some screamed, but not him. The voices faded, and Marcus opened his eyes. "Next test," he asked simply. Princess Serena felt her heart beat faster. She wasn't sure if it was amusement, admiration, or something else. That night, she floated silently outside his quarters and watched him through the small glass window. He was fixing a broken energy rifle, hand steady, humming a quiet human tune. She had used fear, confusion, and mental traps, and he never once asked why. He never begged, never ran. He just endured. For a human, he was calm like water and strong like iron. Serena frowned, confused by her own feelings. She had tested him to break him. But now, part of her didn't want him to break. She wanted him to keep winning. She turned away from the window and whispered to herself, "Why are you so hard to shake, human?" Inside the room, Marcus paused, as if he felt something strange in the air. Then he went back to work. Marcus Hale stood in the training yard, swinging a heavy plasma staff with practiced skill. Every movement was sharp, clean, and quiet. Other Veilari guards watched from a distance, whispering. No human had ever trained in this part of the palace, but Marcus didn't care. He had a job to do. Princess Serena floated down silently behind him. "You train even when no one is watching." Marcus stopped. "Habit." She smiled. "You humans are strange, always pushing yourselves." He wiped sweat from his forehead. "We don't have psychic powers like you, so we make up for it with muscle and will." She stepped closer. "Is that what you think I am? Just psychic power and fancy robes?" Marcus glanced at her, honestly. "I think you hide behind all this." He pointed to her floating crown, glowing robes, and perfect smile. "You wear a mask every day." That hit deeper than he expected. Serena's smile faded. "And what do you think I'm hiding?" Marcus didn't answer right away. "I don't know yet, but I think you want someone to see the real you. Not the princess, not the hair, just you." For a second, her eyes softened. Then she quickly turned away. "You think you're clever, Sergeant." "No, ma'am, just observant." Later that evening, Serena sat alone in her private garden. The stars above were bright, and the moons of Valor glowed silver. She stared at the reflection of her face in the pond. Beautiful, perfect, untouchable, just like everyone expected. But Marcus's words echoed in her head. "You wear a mask every day." She didn't want to admit it, but he was right. Her whole life was full of rules, lessons, expectations. She wasn't allowed to feel weak, tired, or sad. A future empress couldn't fall in love with a bodyguard. A Veilari princess could not show doubt. And yet, when Marcus stood beside her, she didn't feel weak. She felt safe. Meanwhile, Marcus sat in his quarters, thinking about her. Serena was more than she showed. He had seen flashes of it. In her curiosity, her clever tests, her quiet stares when she thought he wasn't looking. She wasn't just testing him. She was trying to understand him. Maybe even trust him. That night, Serena sent a message through the palace comm crystal. "Tomorrow, meet me in the Tower of Memory. Alone." Marcus stared at the glowing message. The Tower of Memory was sacred. Only royals and high priests entered. Was this another test? Or something more? He didn't know. But he'd go. Because something about her, something behind her perfect face and proud voice, was calling to him. And for the first time in years, Marcus wanted to understand someone too. The Tower of Memory was quiet, tall, and full of glowing walls. The air inside was heavy with history. Every step Marcus took echoed under his boots. He had seen many places in the galaxy, but this room felt different. Old, sacred, and full of emotion. Princess Xerina waited at the top level, standing beside a glowing crystal pillar. She wore a simple silver robe, no crown, no makeup, just herself. "You came," she said softly. "I said I would," Marcus replied. She touched the crystal, and images floated around them. Old Valeri kings, great battles, ancient promises. "This tower holds the memories of my people," she explained. "Every ruler must come here before taking the throne. It shows them who they really are." "And why am I here?" Marcus asked. She looked at him. "Because I want to know who you really are." Marcus frowned slightly. "You've already tested me. Isn't that enough?" "No," she said. "Tests show strength. But I want to see your truth." She touched the crystal again. Suddenly, Marcus's own memories started to appear in the air. His ruined hometown, his first battle, a young soldier dying in his arms, the medal he threw away after the war. He froze. "How are you doing this?" "The crystal reads your heart," she said gently. "I'm not trying to hurt you, Marcus. I just want to understand." He looked away. "Why? I'm just a soldier. You're a princess." "Maybe I don't want someone who hides behind a title," she said. "Maybe I want someone real." Before Marcus could answer, the tower suddenly shook. A loud alarm echoed across the palace. Red lights flashed. "What's happening?" he asked, already pulling his pulse weapon. Xerina touched her ear crystal, listening. "Attackers. In the East Wing. Someone wants me dead." Marcus's voice turned cold. "Stay here. Lock the tower. I'll deal with them." But Xerina stepped forward. "No, I fight too." "You're the heir to an empire," he growled. "You're not going into a battle." "I'm not just an heir," she replied. "I'm a warrior of Valor." They ran together through the palace corridors. Explosions shook the walls. Two masked assassins jumped from the shadows. One fired a plasma bolt at Xerina. Marcus didn't think. He threw himself in front of her. The bolt hit his shoulder. He grunted, fell, then rose again, firing back with deadly aim. Both attackers dropped. Xerina stood frozen. You took a hit for me." "Yeah," Marcus muttered, blood running down his arm. "Reflex." She stepped closer, her hands glowing as she healed the wound. "Why would you do that?" He looked into her eyes. "Because I'm not just your guard anymore." For a moment, the war, the fire, the blood, it all faded. And Xerina felt something break inside her. Not fear, not duty, but something warm, something real. And it had a name. Marcus Hale. After the attack, the palace was locked down. Guards searched every hall, every room. No one knew how the assassins got in, but one thing was clear. They had come for Princess Xerina. Inside her chamber, she sat beside Marcus, who lay on a soft, healing bed. His shoulder was wrapped in golden bandages that glowed with energy. "You should rest," she said quietly. "I've rested enough," he replied, slowly sitting up. "You all right?" She nodded. "Thanks to you." Marcus looked at her. "You didn't have to heal me. I've had worse." "I know," she said, "but I wanted to." There was a pause. The air between them felt different, soft, charged, like something unspoken was floating between their words. Xerina looked down at her hands. "You could have died, but I didn't." "That's not the point," she snapped. Then softer, "You jumped in front of a plasma bolt. For me." He met her eyes. "I told you, I'm not just your guard anymore." She stared at him, her heart pounding. "Say it," she thought. "Tell him now. Tell him how you feel." But the words caught in her throat. Instead, she stood up and walked to the window. Outside, The stars glittered like cold fire. Marcus slowly stood too, ignoring the pain. Something's wrong, isn't it? Serena didn't turn around. I was ready to tell you something important, but now everything's changed. He stepped closer. Because of the attack. No, because of how I feel. I don't know if what's growing between us is safe or dangerous. Marcus gave a small smile. Feelings are always dangerous, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. She turned, eyes shining. You don't understand. If I love you, and I think I do, it could start a war. Marcus was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Let them come." Her eyes widened. He stepped even closer. "You're worth it." That made her heart skip. But she looked away again. "Not yet, Marcus. Not now. I need time." He nodded. "I'll wait. I faced worse than waiting." Before she could stop herself, she reached out and touched his hand. His fingers closed around hers. They didn't speak. They didn't have to. In that moment, under the soft glow of the healing lights, a quiet promise passed between them. Not now, but soon. Outside, the Emperor's advisors were already planning. News of the attack had reached the galaxy. Questions would be asked. Enemies would move. And Serena knew, if she wanted to be with Marcus truly and openly, one more test would have to happen. A final test. One that would shake both of their worlds. The next morning, the sky above the Valerie Palace turned red, not with danger, but with power. The Emperor had returned from his diplomatic journey early, and the stars shifted as his grand cruiser floated above the palace like a god's chariot. Everyone bowed as the great ship landed. Marcus stood tall, his arms still healing, but his eyes sharp. "He's early," he muttered. Serena nodded. He must have sensed something. He always does. Emperor Valtherion entered the throne hall with his long cape flowing behind him. His eyes were glowing silver, his face calm, but every step made the walls tremble. He was not just a ruler. He was a force. And he had questions. "Daughter," the Emperor said, his voice like thunder. "I heard there was an attack." Serena bowed. "Yes, father. 2 assassins entered the East Wing. I survived thanks to my guard." The Emperor's gaze turned to Marcus. The human. Marcus bowed his head slightly. "Sir." "Rise," the Emperor said. "I've read your file. You are brave, skilled, loyal, but too close to my daughter." The air turned cold. Marcus stood straight. "My loyalty is to her safety." "But is that all?" the Emperor asked. Serena opened her mouth to speak, but the Emperor raised his hand. "I sense emotion. Attachment. That is dangerous." "Father, it's not what you think." Serena began. "I think clearly, child," the Emperor interrupted. "And I see what you feel. You have broken Valerie law. A royal must not fall for a foreigner, especially not a human. It invites scandal, chaos, war. I don't care about law right now." Serena snapped. "He saved my life. And for that, he will be rewarded," the Emperor said. "But he must leave." Marcus flinched, just slightly. "I won't let you send him away," Serena said firmly. "You won't stop me," the Emperor said with cold finality. Silence filled the chamber. Then Marcus stepped forward. "With all respect, Your Majesty, I didn't plan this. I didn't chase her. I was just doing my job." The Emperor looked at him with narrowed eyes. "And now?" Marcus met his gaze. "Now, I care. I care more than I should, but I won't run from it." That answer shocked even Serena. The Emperor stared at Marcus, then sighed. "So be it. If you wish to stay, you must face the trial of flames." Everyone gasped. Even Serena stepped back. "No human has ever survived that," she whispered. The Emperor turned. "If he loves you, he'll survive. If not, he will burn." Marcus didn't flinch. "When do I start?" The Emperor's eyes burned brighter. "Tomorrow. As he left the hall, Serena rushed to Marcus's side. "You don't have to do this." He smiled softly. "Yes, I do." And though fear touched her heart, she held his hand and whispered, "Then I'll be waiting on the other side." The next day, just before sunrise, Marcus stood at the gates of the trial grounds. The air was hot. The skies above turned deep orange as fire clouds swirled across the horizon. Guards, priests, and royal family members stood in silence. No one spoke. This was the place where warriors were tested, not with weapons, but with heart, mind, and spirit. Princess Serena stood at the edge of the platform, her hands shaking. Her voice was calm, but her heart screamed. "You don't have to do this." Marcus smiled, adjusting the armor given to him. "Yes, I do. For you." High Priest Rull raised his staff. "Begin." With that, the gates opened, and Marcus stepped into the trial of flames. The first chamber was a desert of fire. Rivers of lava bubbled beneath narrow stone paths. The heat could melt steel, but Marcus moved forward slowly, focused and calm. At one point, a flame creature rose from the lava, twice his size, made of smoke and fire. It swung a burning fist at him. Marcus rolled, dodged, and used a broken spear from the ground. He stabbed it through the chest. The creature screamed and vanished in smoke. "Keep going," Marcus said to himself, breathing heavily. The second chamber was colder, but inside his mind, illusions of his worst fears came alive. His fallen friends, his failure in old battles, Serena's lifeless body in his arms. He dropped to one knee, overwhelmed. But then he remembered her words. "Then I'll be waiting on the other side." He clenched his fists, stood up, and shouted, "This is not real." The illusions shattered like glass. Back in the viewing hall, the Emperor watched with a careful eye. "He is strong," he admitted. Serena whispered, "He's more than that." In the final chamber, Marcus faced the heart flame, a massive wall of living fire. To pass, one had to walk through it. Most were burned or broken. Marcus took a deep breath and walked into the fire. Pain struck him instantly. His armor cracked, his skin burned, but he kept walking. One step, for her. Another step, for love. His vision blurred, his body shook, but still he moved forward. And then, silence. He fell out the other side. Alive. Barely. The crowd gasped. Serena ran to him, falling to her knees beside his scorched body. "Marcus," she cried, "please stay with me." He opened one eye, smiled weakly, and whispered, "Told you, I'd make it." She laughed through her tears, holding his face. "You fool. Brave, beautiful fool." From above, the Emperor watched quietly. He had expected the human to fail. But instead, Marcus had done what no one else could. He passed, and he did it for love. The palace was quiet after the trial of flames. Marcus lay in the healing chambers, resting but weak. Princess Serena never left his side. Her eyes showed relief and worry mixed together. Outside, the Emperor's advisors whispered in dark corners. The trial's result had shocked many. A human had passed. That was not supposed to happen. In the shadows, a new danger grew. One of the Emperor's closest men, Lord Varkan, frowned. "This changes everything. A human near the princess is a threat to our rule." He met with secret rebels who wanted to control the throne. If the Emperor allows this union, the galaxy will fall into chaos. Varkan's voice was cold and sharp. "We must act before it's too late." Back in the palace halls, Marcus woke. The pain was less, but the weight of what he had done pressed on him. He looked at Serena, her hand in his. "I'm glad you're alive," she said softly. Marcus smiled. "I did it for you, but now, what next?" Serena's smile faded. "Now we must face the real fight." That night, the palace was alive with tension. Guards patrolled the corridors, eyes alert. The attack had been only the beginning. Marcus and Serena met in the secret gardens where only a few dared to come. "We have enemies inside," Marcus whispered. "People who won't accept us." Serena nodded. "My father may have accepted you, but not all." "We need allies," Marcus said. "Friends who believe in us. Like the Velarre warriors loyal to me," Serena replied. "And some human diplomats I trust." They planned carefully. Trust was scarce. Suddenly, a shadow moved between the trees. Marcus reached for his weapon, but Serena raised a hand. "It's me," a soft voice said. They turned to see Master Veros, the princess's advisor. "I know what you face," Veros said, "and I'm with you." Marcus relaxed slightly. Veros explained, "Lord Varkan is gathering forces. He wants to remove you, Marcus." Serena clenched her fists. "Then we stop him. Together." For the first time, Marcus felt the weight of their future, not just survival, but war. He looked at Serena. "I'll fight for you, no matter what." She smiled, courage shining in her eyes. "And I for you." The stars above seemed to burn brighter, as if the galaxy itself watched their secret alliance grow. But somewhere deep in the palace, Lord Varkan smiled coldly. The game had just begun. The palace was alive with noise. Alarms echoed through the halls. Guards rushed to their stations. The rebellion had begun. Marcus stood beside Princess Serena on the palace balcony. Below, soldiers loyal to Lord Varkan gathered, their weapons shining under the twin moons. "We can't let them take the throne," Serena said firmly. Marcus nodded. "We fight. Together." The gates opened, and the first wave of rebels stormed inside. Plasma bolts flew, lights flickered, and the ground shook. Marcus moved quickly, blocking a blast aimed at Serena. He grabbed her hand and pulled her to safety. "We need a plan," he said. Serena's eyes shone with determination. "Then let's make one." They raced through secret tunnels beneath the palace, where only the royal family and trusted guards knew. "Here," Marcus said, pointing to a control room filled with screens and buttons. Serena took a deep breath. "If I can activate the palace defense system, we can lock down the rebels." Marcus covered her while she worked. Outside, the rebels pushed forward. Lord Varkan himself led the charge, his face twisted with anger. Suddenly, the defense system activated. Force fields rose, blocking the rebels' path. The rebels fired blindly, but the barriers held strong. Marcus and Serena emerged, standing tall before their enemies. "We won't let you take this palace," Marcus shouted. Varkan sneered. "You are nothing but a human guard. You cannot stop us." Marcus clenched his fists. "I may be human, but I fight for something greater." The battle continued, fierce and brutal. Marcus fought with all his strength, every move precise and fearless. He protected Serena with his life. Serena used her psychic powers to disarm and confuse the rebels, turning the tide. Slowly, their enemies began to fall back. Finally, Varkan faced Marcus alone in the throne room. "You will never win," Varkan hissed. "We already have," Marcus replied, raising his weapon. With a quick strike, Marcus disarmed Varkan. The rebellion was over. Serena stood beside Marcus, proud and strong. The palace was safe. But the war for their future was just beginning. The palace was quiet after the battle. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky with soft pink and gold. Marcus and Princess Serena stood on the highest balcony, looking over their home. The rebellion was defeated. Lord Varkan was in custody, and the palace was safe. But things had changed forever. Serena looked at Marcus with eyes full of hope and love. "You have proven yourself, not just to my father, but to me." Marcus smiled, his body still healing but his spirit strong. "I never wanted to be more than your guard. But now, I want to be by your side." She took his hand gently. "No more hiding. No more tests. I want to be with you, openly, without fear." Just then, The palace doors opened. Emperor Valtharion entered, his silver eyes calm but serious. "I have watched everything," he said. "You both showed courage and strength. Marcus, you passed the trial of flames. You fought for my daughter and for this empire." Marcus bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty." The emperor nodded. "I give you my blessing. You may stand beside my daughter, not just as a guard, but as her partner." Serena smiled brightly, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Father." Outside the palace, the people cheered. News spread quickly. Love had crossed the stars, and a new alliance was born. Marcus looked at the crowd, then back at Serena. "We have a lot to do. The galaxy is vast, and not all will accept us." She squeezed his hand. "We'll face it together." That night, under the endless stars, Marcus and Serena stood side by side. The future was uncertain, but filled with promise. They had fought for each other, survived the impossible, and now they would build a new world. One where love and courage were stronger than fear and hate. Together,